This is Ivy,
Hi.
and she's a chef. Today, Ivy is sharing with us her gumbo recipe for National Gumbo Day. So grab an apron and let's get started. These are the ingredients you'll need.
Onion, need some bell peppers. We're gonna be using green onions today. Make sure you have your Creole seasoning, get your filet out, garlic, parsley, bay leaves. We're gonna need flour for our roux. If you're not going to do a roux, you need this gumbo base. Now, we'll get into the other stuff later, but at least we can start prepping and chopping, getting everything together, okay? So I'm gonna start by giving a quick intro as to like I said, what kind of pot you're gonna need. This is a 21 quart stock pot. So get a pot that's at least, I would say, 16 quarts. Get you a roasting pot. We're gonna need this. Let's get out some chopping boards. Right now we're gonna start with prep. So when I talk about making sure that everything is same size, uniform, usually I'm cutting like this. Now, we all know bell peppers, onions, all that stuff is gonna cook down. But the idea of it being uniform is so you don't have a bunch of huge chunks floating around. And I would say this is probably a decent size.
Now let's get into the dry roux. For this, you'll need a sifter, 1 cup measuring cup, and a glass casserole dish.
Right now we're about to make our dry roux. So 2 cups of flour, but you want to sift it, okay?
Now look at that.
Now we're gonna go ahead and pop this in the oven. It's currently at 400 degrees.
Now that we have our roux in the oven, it's time to head over to the meats. Here we're chopping up our sausage and stew meat.
I would say in terms of stew meat, your cubes should look like this. Not too thick, because when it starts cooking down, it literally disintegrates. I don't like huge chunks of stew meat.
I hear ya, Ivy. So it's been 30 minutes. How's that roux coming along?
So we're gonna check on this roux real quick. All right, it's not looking too bad. So we're gonna have to do a couple rounds of this.
It's looking good, Ivy. Let's get our meats in the oven as well. Great. Now let's get to our shrimp.
Right now we are cleaning these shrimp.
Now that's how you clean a shrimp. Let's see that again. I think it's time to check on the oven again. It's been 20 minutes since we last checked.
Okay, so right now we have our meat baking, right? So if we bake the meat, it's easier and you can just kind of not comb out the grease, but you could pick up the meat without picking up the grease. So this is one hack that I have, and we've been doing it this way for a long time. This is almost done, to be honest. I'm gonna leave it in for a hot second longer. This is the dry roux. To me, it's the easier way to make a roux without it being too complicated. I don't know if you can see it, but this little bitty clumps of flour, I'm just kind of smoothing those out because you want to make sure everything bakes evenly. So you don't have like some parts of the flour that are half baked and others. You want everything to have the same consistency, the same color, the same flavors.
Those are some great tips and hacks, Ivy. Let's come back to check on our meat in about half an hour. And we're back.
You see all that grease? That's what we're gonna get out of here. This is the benefits of baking. Baking your meat before you make the gumbo, it guarantees that you can get rid of this. There's nothing worse than a gumbo with a bunch of grease on top. Right now, we're draining the grease and just transferring it to a different bowl.
And now we saute our seasonings on the stovetop.
We want to get a medium heat, okay? All right, so right now we're gonna go ahead and add in some avocado oil. I know it looks like a lot of oil, but we also have a lot of seasonings. All right, so we let the oil heat up. So now is a good time to go ahead and throw stuff in, all right? All right, so seasonings in, we're gonna dump all this. So the main part is really, you wanna make sure everything is cooked down.
It already smells heavenly. Let's show them the seasonings to add in.
I use minced garlic. So now we're gonna add in our roux, okay? So this was the roux from earlier. So 1 teaspoon so far, 2, 3, I'll say 4. So 4 teaspoons so far. Ooh, that smells good. All right, so I would say we're pretty close to done. So you see how that roux kind of blends in with the veggies? I'm gonna add just a little bit more. I really don't have measurements for you. It's more of a way that it looks and smells. You want it to be a little thick, but not burnt. So you gotta be quick and you just gotta keep it moving. I'm gonna add in a little pinch more of the avocado oil. And make sure you're scraping the bottom of that pot. It's a good time to add in our meats. You see that?
I think it's the perfect time to add in some water.
So in terms of water, there is not an exact measurement, but you need to cover all your meats. It needs to be completely submerged. Some people, instead of using water, you could use a chicken stock. Today, I'm using bone broth, okay? Unsalted. So remember, our fire is on at about medium, not even medium, medium low.
Now that we have that together, shall we get started on our seafood stock?
Take these shells. You can place them into really any pot. I'm taking, so like 1.5 cups of the water. So we have the stock going over here, and that's gonna be added to this. That's at least gonna get all the seafood flavors from here extracted, and we're gonna dump it into the gumbo. So also, you see, this isn't fully, you see how the meat isn't necessarily fully covered. So that additional, like let's say 1.5 cups of juice, once we dump it in here, we might need maybe another cup or 2 cups of liquid, because you really want your meat like fully submerged and then some, because you want to have some of that juice to go on top of your rice. Once we finish with the stock, we get some more liquid in here, then I'm gonna mix in the filet. Now you just want to take this out. All right, so that's our seafood stock. And we're just gonna take that.
I think we're going to need a little more than that.
All right, so we still need a little bit more water. All right, so we are coming with about 1.5 cups of water. That should be pretty good. Again, I'm using no salt. So parsley flakes, okay? And again, we're gonna do bay leaves, okay? Again, there's real no science to it. Everything is going to be based on your preferred taste. Creole seasoning.
It was only a matter of time before you pulled out the OG Creole seasoning. Who were you trying to fool?
All right, let's do a little taste. After you add in your seasonings, you want to definitely give it a taste and see where you're at.
Great idea, Ivy. After that, let's take them back over to the oven for that roux.
So this is it, okay? And let's say it's probably been in the oven for 2 hours at 400 degrees. So again, that's what we're working with. I'm gonna set this down because it's hot. So now this needs to come to a boil. That's also gonna help the rest of the seasonings break down, okay? This is where we're at. I have it on about medium heat. That's what it should look like, okay? We are at a boil. So now what we need to do is add in the filet. For me, adding in the filet has always been a little tricky because filet makes it thicker. Obviously with things that are thick and get thick, it gets clumpy. And you gotta make sure that you are adding it so it doesn't get clumpy. So what I usually do, I'm gonna take a measuring cup. I'm gonna put it inside the gumbo pot, take out a little bit of the gumbo juice that's in there. And then we're going to mix in the filet little by little. And we're just gonna reach in. I would say grab, it doesn't matter if you grab some of the ingredients, that's fine. This is the gumbo. We got a little bit of the juice. We got some ingredients out here. And right now we're just gonna add in a little bit of the filet. I have my whisk. I have my filet, okay? I'm gonna add in a little bit of filet. And I'm gonna just whisk it in. So you see how it's already getting thicker. And those little dots you see, that's just garlic. So that's not, you don't want the filet clumping up. That's why I've separated it and pretty much mixing it in little by little. So y'all see how thick it got already. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna return it to the pot. Y'all see how green it is already? So now we're just gonna take it and distribute it through the rest of the pot. So now at this point, let's do another stir. And you'll see eventually the gumbo should get like a dark green. And that's because of the filet. We're almost there.
I think it's time we visit the crabs. Let's start with a rinse.
So once you lift that part, so you see how like you get right up in there. Crack that thing open. So all of this stuff gotta go. So take off the gills. Again, make sure you're rinsing with cold water. You don't want to cook it. So that's good. Okay, clean, ready to go. Like that stuff, yes. So again, these are the gills. That stuff gotta come off. Okay. You see that orangey stuff? That's the stuff I take out. So these two cleaned, okay?
Gotcha, Ivy. Let's head back to the stove.
So at this point, the only thing left to put in is crab and shrimp. First stop, shrimp. Drop them in. Last drop, blue crab. So now we're just gonna bring this to a light boil, nothing too heavy. So right now I'm in between, I would say it's like a medium low heat. It's not low, but it's not medium. It's just right in between. Look at that.
Oh, wow. That looks delicious. I think it's time to give the people some key tips for this recipe.
All right, so I want to go over these tips, important tips now that you have made your first pot of gumbo. You can step away from it at this point, but the most important part is, one, taking it off of the burner that you were cooking with, letting it cool. By the time it gets lukewarm, great. Lukewarm is where you want it. Once it's lukewarm, go ahead and divvy it up into whatever containers you're using. You could put them in a glass Pyrex, you know, the round dishes. I would say stay away from plastic though. If you can, put it in a glass container. You can go ahead and stick it in the freezer or stick it in the fridge, depending on what you're doing. But those are the instructions for making sure that it cools properly. Otherwise, you could run into spoilage, and that will literally wreck your entire gumbo pot.
Let's do a hack recap. 1. Bake meats in the oven and drain off the grease. 2. Bake your flour in the oven at 400 degrees for 1.5 to 2 hours. 3. Swap chicken stock for chicken broth. Well done, Ivy. I can almost taste it through the screen.
Well, if you made it this far in the video, you probably have a bowl of gumbo sitting in front of you just like this. Hey, it's time to eat. It's time to eat. It's time to eat. Hey. And my mother gave me the stamp of approval. Yes. Gave her a bowl and she said, it's on point. So, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. With that being said, I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm sure your bowl looks just like this. I'm hungry as I don't know what, and my mouth is literally watering as I'm holding a spoonful, but let me just, y'all see this? Y'all see this? Thank you for tuning in. Much love, and I'll see y'all in the comments. Also, make sure you follow my business online, okay? Tremaine Kitchen on Instagram, on TikTok. We are doing a lot of different things in Los Angeles, so just stay tuned, and hopefully I'll see y'all at one of those. But until then, gotta go.